one breath. I only do one breath, and I have the most incredible experiences of my life. I want that for everybody.
Hello and welcome to the Pacific Channel, where you learn about the law of attraction, how to manifest anything you want, meditation, and more. In this video, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the mind-body connection and how, for most of us, the body has become the mind. What he teaches is that the body has been programmed to be the mind, and how that is the major problem that most of us have. The goal is to take conscious control of the body so that you can create the emotions that you want, be who you want to be, and live a life free from the shackles of the programming in our bodies. He also talks about the benefits of moving energy from our lower energy centers, otherwise known as our chakras, into the brain. Let's listen to Dr. Joe explain it now.
The disturbance of energy. When you actively engage in doing the breath with the intention of taking all those emotions that are literally stored as energy in those first three centers, primarily the first center too, because that's where all that potential energy exists, that Kundalini energy, you are shaking loose a lot of the conditioning that goes on in the body. Now, the body has been conditioned really to be the mind, and so I mean that in all sincerity, that the body's been programmed to certain behaviors, certain habits, certain emotional reactions, certain beliefs. It's conditioned and programmed. And so when you do the breath and you start shaking loose some of that energy and you start liberating that energy, the body really does every single thing it can to return back to the same emotional state. So, you do the work and all of a sudden your body goes, oh, well, that was weird. Let's get back to the same emotional state. Let's get back to the same program, because it's the mind and it wants the known. It craves the familiar. That's what it's doing. It's looking for safety, right? So the conscious mind is working against 95% of a program. And God knows when we do this, the battle begins. And it looks like a David versus Goliath, because it's an assault of memories, an assault of emotions. The body's doing everything it can to unseat us so we can return back, and it's influencing the mind. Many people say, oh, I'm doing the breath wrong, I'm doing my meditation wrong, I'm doing this work wrong, it's not working for me. I want you to know that you're doing it right. I want you to know that your disturbance of that energy is really starting to denature those programs, and the body's working harder to get back to the known state, and you're stretching it into the unknown. In a sense, you're making a different choice and doing a different thing. You're working on having a new experience, and you're working on changing your emotional state, and the body is resisting. I see it every single time I watch students in this work come to a week-long event. There's a resistance in the body, and sometimes it's while you're doing it, saying you're not doing it right. What am I doing wrong? This doesn't work. I'm going to have a stroke. All of that stuff people have that comes up. I'll do it my own way. All of that. That's because the body's resisting. It's not the mind. The mind made the conscious choice to do it. It's just now the body, you have to work with it. So you're retraining the body. You're reconditioning the body to a new mind. If you stick with it, that energy really starts to move very well out of those centers and right to your heart and ultimately into your brain. You come to the week-long event as in Dallas. We're going to break it down, and you're going to practice over and over again until it gets easy for you, until you have the experience of that energy making its way to your brain. So as you begin to disturb that energy, you begin to change your energy, and when you change your energy, everything that is familiar in your life, everything that's known in your life starts to move into chaos too, because chaos is unpredictable order. It's novelty. It's new information. And again, things tend to spiral a little bit out of order. It happens to everybody that does this work. You gotta understand that, and you gotta keep working on not responding to those programs. So it's not the breath that's doing it. It's just that your body doesn't want to take a chance in the unknown, take a chance in possibility. It's not conditioned to do that. So clinging to the familiar and influencing the way we think and the way we act and the way we feel is its job to bring us back to the same personality. So the work is about going through that process. You're not doing anything wrong in doing the breath. It's just that you're changing your energy, and the body is doing everything it can to return. So it would make sense then, and I've done this numerous times, I get right back to the basics, write down the thoughts that keep coming up. Why? Because that thought is going to influence a certain choice to a certain behavior and recreate the same experience to feel the same emotion. It's automatic, right? So it takes a lot of energy and awareness to stop that. But if I write them down, the thoughts and memories that I don't want to revisit, if I just keep them in my conscious mind, I can catch them before they happen. That's a victory. All right, so I'm moving energy every day in my body. My body's wanting to return back to the familiar. How am I not going to speak? Let me just stay conscious of what I did yesterday. How did I act and behave? How did I go unconscious and back into those old habits? Let me just write them down and review them. And before I open my eyes, I'm just going to remind myself who I no longer want to be. I just want to review those. Now it's no longer about doing the breath. It's about change. It's about true change. Okay, what emotions do I live by every day? Do I live in frustration? Do I live in fear? Do I live in anxiety? Do I worry? Do I overfocus? What is it? What is it? Am I frustrated? What is it that I live by emotion? Let me just pick those emotions that I was in yesterday. And let me just write them down so I can just stay conscious of them. Then I'm going to look at them again before I eat lunch. I'm going to look at them again, review them again. How am I doing? Look at them again in the evening before dinner. And let me look at the end of the day. I don't know, I'm making stuff up. But you got to remind yourself of who you no longer want to be. And you got to become so conscious of those unconscious programs that you don't go unconscious again. You got to keep remembering and stop forgetting. And if you forget, you went unconscious. So how many times do we have to forget until we stop forgetting and start remembering? That's the moment of change. So all of this is instrumental in the process of you crossing the river, because there is a death that's taking place in our biology when we step out into the unknown, and that discomfort, that uncertainty, that unpredictability, that unknown is really causing the body really to do everything it can to be back to its same place, its same personality. This is the work. This is the work. This is why if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. You're moving energy, and that's the side effect of it. If you understand that now, it's not that you're doing the breath right or wrong. It's just now that you got to begin to stop the default. And people that have healed in this work, Milas, I've listened to so many of their stories. They had to get really good at staying out of that personality with their eyes open their whole entire day, not responding to people and circumstances and the same emotions, not thinking the same thoughts and thinking new thoughts and feeling new emotions and practicing behaving a different way. And that's what the walking meditations are about, practicing with your eyes open and trying it out, demonstrating it. We're in the plane of doing, right? So we got to practice doing. Then it's no longer about the breath. It really is about, oh my God, I'm coming up against myself in this process of change. Now, the people who do heal in this work, the people who create miracles or have wealth or new relationships or whatever, they did a lot of overcoming. They did a lot of overcoming to actually become that person. And when they did it very well, they were so happy with themselves that they no longer had a want of having it any longer. They felt like they could have it or not have it, or they could care less if it happened or not. And of course, here comes all the wonder in their lives. You come to the week-long event, we will practice and we'll teach it to you really well. And you'll have an opportunity to do it under a good amount of guidance, and you'll be able to do it over and over again. And whatever you practice over and over again, you get good at. Then you start using that energy to really direct it towards that organ in your brain called the pineal gland. and you learn how to compress those crystals really well and create that piezoelectric effect, you're activating that radio receiver, and it is a transducer. And it can literally become an electromagnetic pulsator. That's exactly what it is. So we use it in this work quite a bit, and a lot of people don't do it because it requires them doing something or making an effort. But I know that I watched one of our scientists in London just this past week. He actually got into it, and I saw him every night at dinner, and he would shake his head and he'd say, I don't know what's happening. I do it. I take one breath. I only do one breath, and I have the most incredible experiences of my life. I want that for everybody. I want that. I smiled at him. I don't know what else to say. Like, wow, is it worth it? Oh my God, I can't believe it. It was like the most incredible experience. It was the most amazing feeling. Now he's going to have those experiences now all the time. And it's just like anything else. So once you figure out how to do it, it gets easier, and it creates a lot of energy in the brain. I've seen it. It creates a lot of coherence in the brain. I've seen it. It activates the area around the pineal gland. I've seen it. And so I can say with a certain amount of confidence that it definitely will create more energy in the brain. So keep practicing. Keep staying conscious, and be aware that what your body's doing, and don't allow it to be the mind, and rehearse really who you do want to be in your day, how you do want to think, how you do want to act, and rehearse it in your mind in different circumstances. I'm going to be different tomorrow. I'm going to be different today than yesterday. And how do I want to feel? What emotion? Let me practice feeling this emotion. Keep bringing it up over and over again so I could bring it up on command. I can do it with my eyes open. I can just keep bringing it up so I can keep feeling it, so I can feel like I'm connected to my future and believe in my future more than my past. And the breath is only the initiator of the movement of energy, but then we gotta navigate in that river of change, and that is that process of unlearning and relearning, breaking the habit of the old self and reinventing a new self, and that's a daily process. I work on it every single day of my life, and you get better at it, but you're still going to be challenged. And I think the more evolved we become, the more we change, the greater the challenges, because that's how we grow. So we got to meet those challenges from a new level of mind. We have to realize we created those challenges from a certain level of consciousness or unconsciousness, and we got to go to a greater level of consciousness than the consciousness that created it. And that's the journey, and that's the practical application here. I can tell you, I know enough people in this work that now enjoy the process. They don't see it in terms of right and wrong or success and failure. They just really have to take the time to really think about.
It's quite amazing that Dr. Joe's scientist friend could take just one breath and have such a profound experience. But that's available to all of us if we simply put in the work and practice. And as Dr. Joe said, once you figure out how to do it, you can continue to do it whenever you want. This special type of meditation that he teaches is a matter of drawing your breath in, focusing on your root chakra or lowest energy center, and then bringing all of that energy up through all of the other energy centers to the top of your head. Then he has you hold your breath for a long period of time. This puts pressure on the pineal gland, which actually charges the pineal gland with electricity through something called the piezoelectrical effect, which simply means that when you put pressure on matter like bone, a crystal, or the pineal gland, it creates an electrical charge. That's a scientific fact. When you do this properly, what you're doing is drawing all of that stored energy in the body up and into the brain. Once it's there, amazing things can happen, such as having a mystical experience or having instant healing. It's a very exciting time to be alive because we are only starting to tap into the unlimited potential we all have to heal ourselves, create abundance, and have the life we really want and deserve. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to watch more videos like this. And if you feel so inclined, please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and have a great day or night.